A very good evening and welcome to Nosweat. Oh yes, episode number 14. And we are rocking and ready to go. It's a beautiful evening, beautiful day here in Jozi. Winter in Joburg is nice, man. It's like a holiday. But I'm not alone. I'm joined by, I'll start with a regular face that you used to, Mr. Wesley Button, or in French we call him Wesley Baton.
Winter in Joburg is not nice, Timber. What are you talking about?
Cape Town, they're dying, Wes. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
it's
right.
dry, it's cold, it is winter. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's why we don't live in Cape Town.
But good evening, Wes. I hope you're doing good. Are you good?
I'm always good, bro.
Super duper. And joining me to my left is a man who is known for his enthusiasm in sports. Journalist, he writes, he's a presenter, announcer. You know, wherever you find a road race or athletics, he's writing, he's telling the stories. We love him. We adore him. It is Mr. Musibori Whitehead.
Thank you, Temba Madima. Such a pleasure to be here finally for Nosweat. And today, Ramba Chivenda. Nase Ramba Chivenda.
It's going to get a bit sweaty today. We've got the tall man, the big man. And guys, Olympic Games is what we are going to be talking about. That's why we're here. And it's been exciting. I mean, everything about it has been really, really drawing viewership, which is what we want to see. It's also been drawing a lot of attention to a lot of our athletes and obviously international performances. So that's why we're here. Olympics, Musibudi, is the first time you're on here. Just what has caught your eye so far? There's been a lot of drama. There's been a lot of excitement all around. What has touched your eye, your heart, and your mind so far?
I think the quality of the performances have been amazing. The track, firstly, the track is a fast track. I think we can see that from the performances in the sprints and the distance events. The weather has been quite good for that French summer, that European summer. We had thought that it might be scorching hot, but it's turned out it's not too hot. We'll wait and see what the marathon has to offer over the weekend. But firstly, I think the conditions have been good, have allowed for great performances, not only on the track, but also in the field events. We've seen really good performances. The one day there was a little bit of rain, but the rain has stayed away, so that has allowed fabulous performances. And I think in general, how many Olympic records have we seen? We've seen a number of them.
Yeah.
The men's 10,000, Mondo last night in the pole vault, doing
Last
6
jump.
meter magic again.
6:25.
You know, so we have seen a number of Olympic records, which highlights the quality of the performances. And I think that comes from A, the track, and B, the crowds. The crowds have been amazing after Tokyo was essentially behind closed doors because of COVID. This crowd has been vocal, has been amazing, and has been getting in there. And so I think that's my first probably highlight of the games. They've been enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, indeed. They say the track is fast. I don't know, man. Wesley, do you think it's that fast, or are they trying to just, are they brainwashing us? It feels like they're brainwashing us. I haven't seen anything. Well, I've seen a lot of fast times, but is it faster than the normal, faster than usual? What is in this track that is apparently this fast, Wes? Have you seen it?
I've seen it on TV. It looks very pretty. I like the look of the track. I don't know enough about what goes into making a track. And, people who do say that it is designed for speed. I don't know. We didn't see lightning fast times in the 100. I think maybe we'll see how fast that track is when we get to watch the women's 400 hurdles final. Because if it's a lightning track fast, we'll get a world record in that event.
But we've been seeing world records before the event. So do we accustom it to, do we give it to the track, or is it the performances?
But I think a hint of how fast the track is the mixed 4x4, where we saw in the heat already the US running a world record. Now, for me, the pace of a track is highlighted more by the distance events than by the sprints, because it's iteration after iteration, where you're gaining a micro millisecond every single time
That
over
makes
a
sense,
longer
yeah.
period of
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Whereas the sprint's a little bit shorter, so if the athlete isn't, up to, if you are not a 9.6 athlete, you're not a 9.6 athlete. A track's not going to make you a 9.6 athlete. But maybe if you're a 10.01 athlete, a track can give you a 9.99 kind of thing.
Okay.
So I think from the distance events, especially the men's 10,000, and that mixed 4x4 relay, it looks like it's a pretty fast track to me.
Even though the time, in terms of if we're comparing it to the world record, the 10,000 wasn't that quick.
Yeah.
But the depth was incredible.
Oh
the
my
number
goodness.
of people who ran so fast.
Sub 27.
13 guys, I
My
think. 13
goodness.
guys ran under the previous Olympic record,
And our
including
man
a South
runs-
African.
Yeah, Adrian Vilskut runs 26.50.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and he's
amazing.
number what?
Hey,
Yeah,
10.
he's- Exactly.
Yeah.
And in any other year he runs 26.50, he gets what?
Gold.
There we go.
He and Akani Simbine are in the same boat, man.
My goodness. But I mean, that's what it's about, actually. Let's just be honest about it. You get to the Olympic Games. I think the worst thing that can happen to you as an athlete is you've got a PB of 9.84 or you've got a PB of 26.56 is what Adrian had. And not being able to get close to that shape or run faster, I think for an athlete it's a bit like, I wish I was at least in that type of shape. But I mean, if you get there and you run a national record, I mean, it's like, what else can you do? You've put together your best possible race at the right time under the most tremendous pressure. I mean, we gotta actually take our hats off. If we don't have our hats, I don't know if we shave our hairs, our hair. I don't know, but it's amazing, and it just goes to show the beauty of preparation, and it shows South Africans. We've gone to a point, and we had Matt here last week, and he said the guys are starting their seasons a bit later. They're focusing more on getting faster in Europe, and their focus now is peaking at this championship. And being able to see that from Akani and Adrian Vilskut and Miranda Kutsia also ran a
Correct.
personal best, 50.66 earlier today.
Yeah.
As well as, those are the athletes that you're saying, okay, they've got it right, and that's what we need to model and get close to.
And I think Quinn is right. Matt Quinn is right, because it's two strategies for South African athletes. It's either those who are starting a little bit later. The best example of that is Miranda, whose first race of the year was actually in April at the ASA Senior Track and Field Championships. She ends up losing her title. Sheline Kubwi beats her to that 400. But then after, she kicks on African champs. She wins gold there, qualifies with 3 days to go.
Come on.
And now she's run a personal best. And she says she was aiming for sub 50 or 50 low. So let's see what she can do in a semi-final. So that's the first strategy, starting a little bit later. Then we've got maybe the likes of, I think Prudence is probably a good example of this one. Prudence Sokodi, so where you have an earlier peak in the first peak in end of Feb, beginning of March. Come back down again, work on a second base, and then peak again for a late July, early August peak. So they would do a little bit of Europe in around about April, May, so the early Diamond League meets, and we saw how well she ran when she won in Marrakesh.
Oh, yeah.
And then she comes back home, does another block of, let's say, 4 weeks, and then goes to Olympics with that kind of second peak in mind. So it's two kinds of strategies, and I think it certainly is working. We're finally starting to get the whole season timing thing right. But I think a key thing from ASA, we've got to get those championships end of April at least, not beginning of April. Where they are now, where they were this year work, but end of April, even beginning of May would help athletes a lot.
Yeah, I think, if you look at our conditions, we pretty much have summer all year long. The days are pretty much good. The evenings and the mornings are a bit cold. But all in all, like you said, if we can push it a bit longer or a bit later, why not? We need to get the athletes on par to that international. Some athletes are getting it right, which is, it's exciting to see. Being able to see the athletes perform so well. We'll touch on those performances, Wesley. A lot of the performances from South African athletes, really, really fantastic. Some of them, we were praying and we were hoping, for a medal and for better performances, and we'll touch on Akani Simbini's performance as well. But how do you fault some of these athletes that have gone there, and so far each and every one of them have produced what they've needed to, and there are some athletes that fell a bit short. Maybe we expected a bit more. But let's talk about the results. Last week we were talking, everything last week we were forecasting. Hey, this is what will happen. These are the possible medals. This is who we think we can win.
It hasn't exactly gone to plan.
It hasn't gone to plan, Wes. Well, you're not. You're still in the mix because you said you're expecting 2 medals.
Yeah, I still have a chance.
In both relays. So we'll touch on that because there's a spanner in the works.
Yeah.
Spanner.
Problems.
Hey, so tell us, results-wise, how do you think we've done so far?
Look, we have to be honest, right? We're not here to just promote athletes. So I think, to be fair, not everyone has been awesome.
Yeah.
Some of the guys just haven't come through. And, like Mosibodi was saying, maybe they're just not getting their peak right. Maybe they're tired. Some of these guys have been
Long seasons.
racing for a long time this year, yeah. So it hasn't been all flowers and roses. But I think generally the athletes have done really well. Even some of the guys who haven't run too well in the heats, like the 400-meter runners, came through really nicely in the repechage round.
Zagiti had a good Zagiti had a good repechage.
Yes, a brilliant one. And I think Live Pile looked good as well. He looked comfortable, won his heat. Not quite as quick as Nene, but it's good to see the guys kind of taking advantage of something that I have kind of criticized through these games.
Yeah, how do you feel
I don't
about
like
the
the
repechage?
second round, man.
Besides the spelling, he doesn't like the spelling. Let's start with
I don't like having to pronounce the word.
Repechage.
Mosibodi gets to pronounce it from now on.
And besides, your name is Wesley Botton, so you should be able to say
le repechage.
Look, I think obviously for example, our 400-meter runners, it saved them. Without that, they wouldn't have got through to the semis. But now they're going through to the semis with dead legs. And if you get through to the final, you're running 4 races in 4 days. It's too much, man.
And don't forget 4x4.
Yes. And then
So
you
that's
still got
5
relays to run.
400s. My goodness. But I don't know if we were chatting. You spoke about some coaches. People will always find a loophole. Wherever there's a loop, there will be a hole.
Yeah.
So athletes opting not to run maybe as hard in the heat because maybe it's a bit tougher running against Bednarek and running against Noah Lyles, Teboho, etc. You can just jog through your heat and then fight in the repechage. I mean, it's actually against the spirit of Olympics.
I agree.
Has it happened? Have you seen it?
I've seen it, literally seen it, man. In the 110-meter hurdles, a guy did that in the heats. Just didn't feel up for it, I think. Or maybe, I don't think World Athletics really thought this through because there's nothing wrong, according to the rules, with doing what some of these athletes are doing. And I think some of them are even going into the race purposely, just jogging through because maybe they've been drawn against 2 or 3 athletes who they know are quicker. Whereas if they get through to that second round, they know all those guys are gone. And they can just focus on winning that heat.
I don't know because one of your examples is Uibo, the defending champion in the women's 400 meters. Remember, she jogged. Maybe she had a problem, but she stopped and ended up doing that 400 meters in 2 minutes 20 something.
Yeah.
So she walked, but she stayed in her lane. So they said no, she's not disqualified.
Yeah.
She's eligible to come back in the repechage, and she was drawn in the same heat.
She ran today.
Today as Miranda Kutsia, but she was there. Boo! Position of Msela.
53.
It still didn't help. So I think sometimes they are athletes who come into these Olympics, as they always are, with an injury. And they said, okay, I'm going there anyway. They try and be clever. Maybe it's worked for 1 or 2, but I think in the main, in the repechage, we've got a lot of the athletes who've come 3rd and 4th, or 4th and 5th, winning the repechage round to secure that spot, which kind of makes sense because they would have been in the old system, gone through as some of the fastest qualifiers. So I think maybe 60% right, but yes, there are crooks in every system.
Wherever there's a loop, there will be a hole. Okay, let's talk about this, guys. So now, Ryan Mpatlele, Tshepo Tshite, let's talk 1,500 meter. I mean, we had Samuel Sepeng here. He was online with us just chatting about the athletes and the 1,500 meter. It's a tough event. We must be honest about that. Whereas you saying just as I mentioned the names. How do you feel? Do you think they've got the strategy wrong? Is it what Mosibodi said? Season too long. You get a repechage and there's no rapid charge actually. So what is your feel around that? Is it just not getting it spot on, or what is it?
Yeah, look, I think firstly those are the most disappointing performances so far. That some of the field events guys haven't been great either.
Yeah,
but
true, yeah.
I don't know, our 1500-meter runners just didn't come through, and maybe they are just tired. Maybe they need to get used to peaking. They're not new though, right? These guys have been running for a long time, and I think Tsepo Tite just didn't have a good day, missed out. But I feel like Ryan Mpatlele, who is the bravest runner on most days, he's always willing to go for it.
Yeah.
And then sometimes he gets into these big races.
But he went for it in the repechage. He led 3 laps.
And then eventually gave up.
Gave up or was finished.
But I
yeah,
suppose
he's
that's fair. At
splitting.
least he did try, right?
I think it's not. You're right, but his pacing was so repechage. It was not as consistent. So he's running not as bold.
Yeah, it's not like he's winding it up.
When he's
lap after
bold,
lap.
I mean, I've personally said it, and I'll say it every time. For me, one of the most exciting middle distance runners we have in South Africa is Ryan Mpatlele.
100%.
You get to the stadium any given day. If he decides he's going for it, he does not need help.
Yeah.
And you watch him, and it's
that's
aggressive.
how they've qualified with Tsepo Tite in the Cape Milers.
Come on, man. So we know what he can. I mean, of course, the stadium has got 75,000 people. It's different from what we used to, maybe 10,000 or whatever. But yes, he did go bold, but it was not as calculated as what he usually does.
I agree with you, actually, Tim. I think he looked a little bit lost in terms of tactics, because the tactics between his heat and his repechage round were vastly different.
Vastly.
In the first one, he tried to sit and kick with the rest of them. He found that was not him. And speaking to him 3 weeks before he departed for the Olympics, he did say he's going to go out there and be himself. So I was surprised when he ran that way in the heat. So clearly his mind, the strategy, he's not clear about how to approach it, because then he changes and decides, okay, that didn't work, let me go back to what I know, let me front run. But then the front running didn't work. So I think for Ryan, he does look a little bit lost in terms of the tactics. And then for Tsepo, if I had a Shambok, I'll save it for Tsepo. Because, and I told him at the SA Champs, you can't miss out on, it was the World Championships final, and now it's the Olympic semi-final by a few hundredths every time.
3 split seconds.
And simply because you're trying to outkick 4 guys from 80 meters. Listen, the guy's got a good kick. He trusts his kick, and I love that he does. But you can't kick from position 8 trying to pass at the Olympics. Remember, this is not South
Everybody
Africa.
kicks the same
When you're out kicking Musibudi Madima and Botten, you know you're going to finish them. But there, everyone's got a kick. Everyone can go like
52,
23.
53.
They can give you 23 for the last 200.
Yeah,
some of those guys.
yeah.
So how are you going to outkick that? So firstly, you need to be in the right position. And I just felt on the back straight of the final lap, every time, he's too far back. You can't be there. You can't be in position 9 or 10 and think you're going to kick them over 150 meters. It's leaving yourself with too much work to do. And as a result, what happens? He comes, now he's getting into a position. The Italian sees him. If you watch the repechage round. And the Italian runs slightly wider. Forces him to run wide. He's getting tired. He's been kicking for longer. Because now he must hold his top speed. This guy, when he sees him kicking, because he's looking around, he's counting the positions. He sees I'm in 6th. So fine, I'm in a position. I'm not going to let him pass.
Close him out.
And now you're tired because you've been kicking for 100 meters. No, guys. Tsepo, no. He should be in that semi-final. He didn't run badly. He ran well. Just that this thing of his of thinking he will kick for 120 meters. No, it's too difficult at the Olympics.
Too difficult.
It's not just about knowing yourself. You have to know your opponents.
That's good.
Every single athlete that you're racing against at that level, you should know something about them. You should know what their strengths are, their weaknesses are. So if somebody kicks, you know whether to respond or not. And I don't really want to criticize her because she did run so well at these Olympics. But I feel like Prudence also made a mistake tactically in the final. She hasn't got the fastest kick. If you look at some of the athletes that were running that 800-meter race, they can sprint.
Mora can kick.
Absolutely.
Keely can kick.
And I don't know if maybe they were just running too hard and she didn't have the energy on that back straight, but I feel like that was her only opportunity, was to try and just push the pace at the back straight, try and take the sting out of their kick a little bit, because by the time she got to 80 meters to go, she was just left floundering.
She was in there for
like
bronze.
Said,
She was in the fight for
just
bronze,
didn't have that. But I mean,
Nothing left.
It's a bold run. Top 8 in the world. Hey, people, athletes must be aware. Musibodi Whitehead is running around with a shambo.
No, for Prudence, for me, I don't think it was that. I think she was emotionally spent. She had such a good semi-final.
Yeah,
She did.
Ran
Such
brilliantly.
a good semi-final that I think after that, and there were some interviews that were done. I'm not sure, but it might have been the SABC guys, and it was out on socials, and she wept after that because it's a big achievement, and she's been saying that, especially after falling at the World Championships in the semi-final last year, she had been saying that she wants to get to the finals. So I think the emotional toll that getting to that final took, left her a little bit empty in terms of emotional energy for that final. And in that last 50 or 60 meters, that's where you need it, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think she had it, not because of the stretch. She was in the right position. She was there for a bronze.
Perfect.
50, 60 meters go, she's there. She
Yeah.
just needs to try and
Another
gut it
kick,
out.
yeah.
And she just looked like in her eyes, because I saw...
Looking at the screen.
She looked at the big screen.
I
You
saw
that
that
as well.
too, yeah.
So coming, she looked, and it's almost like, oh, wow, I'm here kind of thing, or I'm tired, or I've done it, or I've made it kind of thing. And then she's maybe she settled, or
settled.
and
That's
she
a
said,
good
"No,
word.
I'm happy, kind of thing. So I think she ran well. She positioned herself. Everything was there. It was just up to her
To decide.
to decide. And maybe she didn't have enough after a long and
But I think
training week.
that's something that is like important. Like let's say athlete sets goals, right? Getting to the final is like such a big tick. Unfortunately, if that's too big a tick for an athlete personally, you can get maybe to a point where you just emotionally, like you said, weeping after the semi-final. It's a lot of emotion. It's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of people there at the stadium. Being able to somehow find equilibrium and just stabilize all that emotion and the hype and actually sleep is something
that's a good
we
point.
don't
She
know.
didn't sleep well
Maybe
after
she didn't
that.
She
Yeah.
actually said after the final that she had struggled to sleep, and she said that one of the issues is that she didn't like the program at these Olympics because it really is hectic. She managed to skip that second round by having a decent run in the heats, but she still ran 3 800-meter races in 4 days,
Sub 2 minutes.
and she says she's just not used to it.
Sub
So-
2 minutes.
And she said that it affected her sleep. So maybe that plays into it.
Absolutely, because I mean it's definitely. I mean, let's look at we look at the 100-meter. Just looking at somebody like anybody who ran in that 100-meter final.
Yeah.
Now let's just go there. We know you guys are trying to leave it for last. But let's go there. So, man, it's a big final. I mean, we go through the heats. We can talk about it because we haven't done a podcast since Olympics actually started. Okay, besides the opening ceremony.
Yeah, no. You can say it, Madima. We are here for athletics. Swimming is a curtain raiser. For athletics. Then the rest, the main event. 206 nations participating at the Olympic Games. 200 of those have participants in athletics. It's the most. It's a global sport. It's
Come
the
on.
biggest sport. And it's the highlight of the Olympic Games without a shadow of a doubt. And that's what everybody watches. That blue ribbon event, that 100-meter final, men's final. And for you to be there is already a huge thing. So first things first, I think for Akani to be there is huge. And if we go back, I think Sean Maswanganyi getting to a semi, Benjamin Richardson in particular for me
995.
was excellent in that
Phenomenal.
semi-final. I mean, for me, that was the toughest semi without a doubt.
Yeah.
He's alongside Fred Curley. He's alongside Kishane. He's alongside DeGrasse. He's alongside Omanyala. He downs them.
He snacked on some big dogs.
Oh, he kills them. And then 995 any other year is good enough to get into an Olympic final.
Come on.
And he misses out. So
By
I
2
think-
splits.
Oh, well done to Benjamin Richardson for running so hard and not looking on his inside because he was in the I think lane 8 or
outside,
9.
yeah.
And he ran a very good race even though he didn't get to the final. But as you say, then the final for me as the deepest final in terms of quality that we've seen because there's no Usain Bolt. I think if there's a Bolt, we can relax because a lot of us know we're not going to beat him. No disrespect to athletes, but you line up in Rio, you line up in London, you line up even in Beijing, and you know there's only one man winning this race. Maybe Beijing's slightly different because Tyson
He
is
was
still
new.
at his peak.
Yeah.
You know, there's Asaf Apal, Mr. Sub 10.
Yeah.
There's a younger version of Justin Gatlin
Yeah.
who had won in 04. So, but you line up in London and Rio, you know there's only one winner. You guys relax, you know, hey, we're running for second and third here. It doesn't make it as dramatic. But this time around, there were 3 or 4 men in that lineup who could have been
5.
Olympic champions.
Not even
I
3.
reckon 8. I
Yeah.
reckon every single
My
guy who
goodness.
stood on that start line felt like they had a chance.
Let's break
there.
it down. I mean, Kishane Thompson, he's Mr. 977, so he's obviously, but we still need to test. We have never seen him at a major championship, so already there's a bit of doubt there. There must be doubt. Yes, he looked good in the semis. He looked phenomenal in his semis. He looked scary in his semis. I was scared. But you've also got the likes of Noah. Mr. Walk the walk and talk the talk. If he says it, hey man, I think it's better to keep him quiet, because whatever he says, it happens. And I mean, you know, when he's in the race, he's on the outside, he's isolated, he's not really in the race. And then you've got Akani Simbini, I mean, dominated his semi-final. You know? He's in the mix as well. We've got the likes of
Letsile Tebogo was there.
Tebogo. You never count Letsile out.
Absolutely not.
That man is built for pressure. He's built for the big stage. He's built for, I mean, considering all he's been through this year, the loss of his mom, and finding that something to rechannel. And he says, listen, I'm doing everything for my mother now. He's a dangerous man. He's a man with a point to prove. He's a man who is running for more than athletics.
Yeah.
He's in there as well. You know, so it's one of those finals where it's everybody's got a story to tell. You know, Akani Simbini carrying the hopes of Africa, never mind South Africa. You know, Tebogo as well. But here is the moment. He needs to produce his best race. He needs to go out there and deliver, which he does, personal best. So it's a scary final. I mean, after the semi, I'm telling you, until that race ran, I was calculating, and I didn't even know. I didn't know what was going to happen. 27 centimeters in the end of the day.
Between first and fourth.
First and fourth.
This much.
It's like, it's somewhere
Crazy.
here. It's a little.
Yeah. Very tight.
Yeah, so you're right. I mean, so for me, that's the deepest final we've had. So anyone would have gone into that, maybe 3 or 4 of them. You guys say 5 or 6 of them.
Fred Kelly is who I didn't mention.
Yeah,
So that's
Fred
5.
Kelly.
There's your number 5. Lamont Jacobs. There's 6.
Lamont
Okay, Lamont was out, fine. But Fred is there. So Fred makes it 5.
Yeah,
Okay.
so what do you make of it, Wes? 4 or 5?
Seville, I wouldn't have been shocked if
Seville
they won.
Oh, you're right,
oblique.
oblique, yeah?
Yeah.
That's 6.
Yeah.
I'm counting what is
The
it,
ones-
Lamont as well.
No, I wouldn't count
So
Lamont.
that's 7, and then you still got.
Who
I
we
mean, it's a
missing?
pact.
Bednarek?
Yeah,
no,
Bednarek
Bednarek
was also in
didn't
there.
make it.
He was there.
Oh, yeah, he was out there. Kung Fu Kenny.
Kung Fu Kenny. So you can hear, guys. It's 8 of the best 100-meter sprinters currently now, and they're all in 4. That's the scary thing. Everybody's run 991 or below before that final.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure we'll talk about Akani, but let's talk about Akani, right? He's not just including the Olympics. If you include the World Championships as well, and you eliminate his World Champs last year where he was disqualified in the
Yeah.
semi-finals,
Yeah.
that's 6 successive major global championships
Come
where he's
on,
finished
man.
in the top 5.
That is amazing.
I feel like maybe there's reasons we put emphasis on medals. Right?
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
celebrate victors and we
Yeah.
celebrate 2nd and 3rd position, but that's not everything.
It's not.
It can't be everything.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with finishing 4th in the world, especially in the 100 meters, which is the most competitive event in track and field athletics.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
The
also,
mo-
most athletes, the largest number of athletes will come from there.
100
That's why you've got
meters.
preliminaries. and-
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's the most, everybody wants to see who is the first. To be in the, how many billion people are there in this world? Like we're chasing 8 billion now,
Billion,
I'm
yeah.
sure. And to be number 4, top 5, top 8.
Over
you know?
and over and over again. It's really disappointing that he hasn't got a medal, but
He wants that medal of,
I'm
of
sure he does.
course
but
he does.
Listen, for
his
Akani,
career
for
has been
me,
incredible.
I think the main thing for Akani, in terms of not only South Africa, but Africa, as you say, Womadima, is that he made a whole generation of athletes believe that an African can get to an Olympic final.
Absolutely.
Going back to Rio 2016, when he first did it and finished 5th in that race. In that race, when he lined up for the final, we thought, okay, the guy's made it. Even if he finished last, it's fine. But no, he finishes 5th. So I think for me, Rio was a great performance. The World Championships were a great performance. 2 nights ago was an even better performance.
Sheesh.
The only way where I can criticize Akani is Tokyo 2021, where I felt that was the opportunity which he should have taken, because in Kasi terms, a race ibe lahlile. Ine lahlile race ile, meaning that
It was open.
It was open. Anyone could take it, and
Yeah.
as a result, we saw no disrespect to the guy, man,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't count him in even in my top 10 100-meter sprinters. And you saw him.
He made the final.
He scraped through to the final. He scraped through. He scraped through. He scraped through.
He's
He's
the one-
always withdrawing from races.
Yeah, he is doing
No,
that.
the guy. No, for me, I don't count him in my top 10. Nowhere close. So, but the good thing about him, he took his chance on the day.
Yeah.
He took it well on the day. And that's my only criticism ever that I have of Akani, is that on that day in Tokyo, 60-meter mark, he is there with them. And if you look, I watched that race again and again, like I watched 43.03, Wade's 43.03. You look at his face, he tenses up slightly. And I thought maybe like we're talking about prudence, maybe he realized, oh, I'm going to win this thing. Or something happened in his mind, because he, and then he couldn't move his arms as freely and ended up in fourth. But Rio, amazing race. Last night, 2 nights ago, even better.
Yeah.
Even better.
That
That
was the
was
race
a
of
really
his
good
life.
race. That was the best race Akani
He-
Simbini has
he-
ever run.
For sure.
I mean, you talk about consistency. I mean, to get better and better and better. I mean, it's a discipline. It's a focus. It's a hunger. It's like a burning desire. I mean, he can make it into the next Olympics as well,
Do you think?
based on his discipline and the way he conducts himself, and he will be able to make it to the next Olympics. I believe so. If he decides to do it, he can do it.
I
you
think
know?
he will win a medal. Not at the Olympics, but I think he'll win a World Championships medal.
Maybe.
Next
yeah.
year is
I
going
think
to be a
next year.
big year as well. But I
think
mean,
he can win a World Championship. I think he will win a World Championships medal. The Olympics might be too far. Might be a little bit too far. If he was a 100, 200 man, I would say yes, because that will give you a little bit more endurance to go forward. But in recent years, he's become more of a 100 man. This year, we've seen him run 1-200, and I was
Yeah.
quite impressed
In
at the
Madrid,
beginning
yeah.
of the season.
Yeah, beginning of the season, yeah.
Because before he would break down after running a 200, he might get injured. I remember in 2021 when they ran in Reimsig, great race with Wade and Anaso. After running that 200, he picked up an injury. But this season, not so. So he's a lot stronger. But I still think to go to LA, it's a big ask. In terms of medaling, he will go there. But
Yeah,
in terms of medaling, it's
I'm
a
sure
big
he
ask.
could qualify.
yeah, no, he will be there.
Yeah.
The
But I think
medaling
World
is
Championship is
medaling is always going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, at that age, we've seen. I say this because if I look at the longevity of the likes of Gatlin,
Yeah.
Kim Collins,
Yeah.
these guys,
Kim Collins,
you know,
40-something.
disciplined, they focus. If they
Yeah.
set their mind to it, he'll be at
Yeah.
the games.
So I think a World Championships next year, definitely a medal is his. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the beauty of the sport. National record, new South African record, 9.82 seconds at the Olympic Games final. I mean, what a moment! What a way to rise! What a way to bounce back from previous disappointments and bring your best performance under so much pressure. I mean, if it wasn't, 3 split seconds, gold medal. 1 split second, bronze. It's literally that. It's that close, man. It's that close. But we have to take our heads off. Athletes that perform and give their all. That's why I like this. There was an ad by Adidas.
I saw it. When he goes, I can't
Yeah, and it says they're pretty much saying yes, medals and all those things are important, but it's not all about medals. It's about inspiring the next generation of African runners. Letsile, after winning at World Champs, he said,
Yeah.
if I could take this medal, I would give it to Akani. That's how much he knows he even deserves it. But I mean, it just goes to show what Akani is saying with inspiring the next youth and the next generation. It's true, because if somebody can win a medal and say, I wish I could give it over because you've done more for African sprinting than I did winning this medal, it's big.
And you can imagine Letsile Tebogo growing up watching Akani.
Of
He's
course.
quite a lot younger
Yeah.
than him, eh?
Yeah.
Almost 10 years.
2016, I mean.
Yeah.
How
So
old
he would have been a
Witsike in
kid.
2016.
Yeah, it was,
Absolutely. So I'm
beginning.
sure he played a big role in Tebogo's career.
Yeah, absolutely. So
And also, for me, what's important is promoting South Africa. Because without the likes of Akani, then we'll never hear that word mentioned, South Africa, by the commentators. Because, like, hey, when our guys are positioned in Msila, I mean, at the back, Wes, then
Thank
you
you,
don't
Mr.
get mentioned. But like if you're there in the front, whenever the camera for a 100-meter race comes to Akani, they'll say, from South Africa, one of the most, because, they'll give the whole pie. And then
Yeah,
you're like, yes, hey! And, Prudence did the same thing
Yeah.
as well. So that's the important thing also about getting to finals as we look over the results, It's not just about medals, but it's also about getting to finals. And I think is where we missed a trick here. Because beginning of the year, Athletics South Africa, they invited a whole lot of business people to come and witness the awards. And it was a great award ceremony right here at the airport, at one of the hotels by the airport. And they said that there will be some bonuses given. And I think there might be some still coming after the Olympics by Athletics South Africa, in addition to the SASCOC ones. But I think what we should have done is communicate clearly and say, guys, we're giving bonuses for finals, for Olympic finals, because an Olympic final is a big deal.
it's a big deal.
Regardless of whatever position you get there, because it also promotes your sport, your federation, your country. So I think it's something we need to consider, where we say, guys, there's something Yana just for reaching the final. And then, of course, if you win a medal, SASCOC will look after you with their own bonuses and whatever.
Yeah.
But I think from our own federation, as ASA, we need to say, there are some bonuses. This is our bonus structure specifically for finals, because we could see a lot more motivation of guys trying a little bit better or sorting out the tactics a little better just to get to that final.
Yeah.
Because when you have 3 or 4 in a final, it's different than one every year. Akani, or wait.
Yeah.
I mean, we need different youngsters to come through to those finals, and hopefully it can happen for world champs going forward, and then the LA 2028.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, other athletes also at the Olympics, the jumps. Cheswell Johnson, did you get to see some of that?
Cheswell Johnson jumped something like 4 meters.
My
I wish
goodness.
I was lying. I don't know what happened to him. He
4.
had 2 no jumps, and then one, I guess, just didn't get off the ground. Barely landed in the pit, and that was the end of his games.
And remember that Tezi in 2021 was no mark in Tokyo.
Yeah, it's
So
disappointing.
something's not right there with the big, the major championships jumping from Johnson. It's clearly he's a jumper of a fabulous ability. You come and watch him at the Jameson Stadium, he's hitting those
Yeah,
jumps.
822 he jumped this year, and to go and jump I think 489, anything in the 4s. I mean, it's obviously
It's a bit crazy.
That's just a safety jump now. Is let me get a mark, because the last time there was no mark
Yeah.
for the jumps
At
in
least-
Tokyo. So there must be something, maybe, I don't know. But we'll talk to him when he comes back. I don't know what's going on there when the major championships with Chesy, because he's got far more ability than that. But to go 4 meters, no mark.
449.
It's weird, yeah.
Yeah, it's very strange. I mean, we talk about at least being at the Olympics, showing up and giving your best performance. So somewhere there, the combos aren't communicating, and it's like you said, we'll have to find out what it is. It's odd. I mean, a man who's jumping 822s and has jumped many times over 8 as well, comfortably. So it's concerning. Maybe injury that is not
Yeah, it's
disclosed.
scary,
Maybe
correct. Yeah.
it could be that. But yeah, it's tricky.
I think even Jovan van Vieren was disappointing. What did he jump? 770, I think, in the qualifying round. That's far below his best. And we go back less than 10 years. I mean, how many awesome long jumpers did we have? We had a long list of them.
Long.
Safisa, Khotsomokwena, Luvo,
Aish.
Luvo,
Roswell.
Ruswal.
And we're talking of silver medalist in Khotso Mokoena, silver medalist in Luvo. So it's the culture.
There
is
was
there.
a world championship where Luva Manyonga and Ruswal Samana
Yeah,
stepped on the same
1 in
podium.
3.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we just don't have the long jumpers right now. Van Vieren is a great jumper, like you said. Johnson is too, but they're just not performing at this level.
I saw a story. I'm not sure if it's true or not, because I haven't spoken to Jovan since then. But apparently he suffered some
Getting
death threats or something. Is
yeah,
that real,
I
or
believe so.
is it bogus? So you can't always believe what you read online these days.
You know, I've been getting weird messages on Twitter
Are you
from
also
some
getting
random
death threats?
person. No, I'm not getting death threats.
I was about to say, what ways are you going to confess online?
Nobody cares
Hey,
about
hey.
me enough.
Leave Wesley alone, wherever you are. Leave Wes alone.
I've been getting messages from like an anonymous account on Twitter. I'm furious that Van Vuren was selected for the Olympics when Lucolo Adams was not, basing their arguments on the fact that Van Vuren is in such poor form. And I mean, I hope it's not something along those lines. I mean, I don't know what reason anybody would have to be sending death threats to a long jumper.
Yeah.
What could he have done?
He didn't take anyone's spot. There were
No.
only 2 long jumpers, I beg your
Yeah,
pardon,
absolutely.
qualified. The Lucolo Adams one is a bit different because
Completely
there's
A
another
lot of
spot
complexities,
there.
yeah.
And there are internal discussions that happen between him, his people, and Athletic South Africa. And it may have even gone the legal route, for which ASA said they are prepared because they've got supporting documentation. So
Yeah.
that one is a little bit different. I don't think we can compare it. There are only 2 guys that qualified for long jump, so he's not taking anyone's spot by
Let
going
him
to
go.
Paris.
Yeah, let's see. You know, roll the dice. Maybe, hey, pop.
Yeah.
It's a 6 there.
Yeah, there's
and
no one better, so it's not like he's depriving anyone of an
yeah,
opportunity.
so it's not,
Yeah.
it's not the same at all. You know, and I think that's what those who are watching from the outside need to understand. It's not only about, it's not favoritism.
Absolutely.
People are thinking it's a favoritism story where we choose this athlete over this one. But there's conversations you mentioned. There's form. There's, who will be in the best position to go out there and run. And just talking on that, 200 meters, we got to see the guys in the 200. 2 good performances and 1 major. It's not a disappointment. It's
an Asia.
it's when you think of what's to come in the future in the 4x1, it's a big disappointment. So Wade van Niekerk running the 24-2, he qualifies for the final. We also had Sean Maswanganye also running well in his heat, qualifies for that semi-final as well, 22-0, and then Benji hurting his hamstring, and it seems, from what we saw on social media, is that's the end of his campaign. He says we'll see you guys in 2025.
Yeah, it looks
Thanks
like
for the
it's
support
end of
and
his
love.
season. Eh?
Yeah, so that's a major athlete out of that 4x1, which we were looking into as well for one of the events where we can possibly win a medal. Still can. I still believe
I
we
believe
can.
so too, man.
But
I really
it does throw a spanner in the works, whether we like it or not. It throws this big. It's like a Boboyan spanner. Boom. Boboyan spanner in the works.
No, guys. 4x1. Yeah.
Come on, Moss.
Hey, guys, let's. No, guys.
A
I
little
love
bit of
South Africa,
positivity, please.
I love South Africa, but okay, the US. Let's.
Yeah.
They had 3 of those guys in that final that we just spoke
Yeah.
about.
It's
Plus
Bednarek.
Coleman.
It's oh my goodness.
You add Coleman in there as
Plus
well.
Coleman. Okay,
So
and
it's
we won't even
Bednarek.
count the other guys who are running 200. There's so many other guys running 200s and 100s there. Let's say they are the favorite for the gold, right? At this moment, maybe can they get the better of Jamaica? Jamaica had 2 in that final.
Kashawn Seville.
Correct, and they've had a number of able 200 and 100 runners that are all through to semis.
Akeem Blake
There we go.
in the semi.
There we go. So then next, who's taking this bronze? Who's taking this bronze? Those 2 are fighting for gold.
We are.
Who's taking this bronze?
South Africa's taking that. bronze.
In front of who? In front of Great Britain, who've got Janelle and 3 others, and Gil, the guy with the mullet.
Do they have as much depth as we do?
Oh,
You need 4 guys.
You need 4 guys.
yeah, but we don't have that depth anymore. That Benji's injured.
I feel like we do. I know Bayanda Walaza is not Benji Rich.
He's still a boy. We can't put so much
Absolutely.
pressure on him. He's
not.
He's taking school books.
Does
There.
it-
He must do trigonometry, man.
Then he should have stayed at home.
He's not under pressure. Does Bayanda look like he's under pressure though?
Okay, what's his PB?
But does Bayanda look
10-1-3.
like he's under pressure?
No, listen. The kid takes
He's
pressure
there.
very
He's
well.
blooming.
I love
He's
him.
enjoying
Yeah,
it. He's
enjoying
basking. He's like he's charging his batteries in the pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So take away the pressure aspect out
Yeah.
of that.
But what I'm saying is these guys, okay, Great Britain, let's use them as an example. They've got 3 sub-10 already in that lineup, right? Janelle just missed out on the final. Was he in the final? He might
No,
have been.
no, no,
he
no,
wasn't.
he wasn't.
We've got the kid with the mullet who goes to Houston.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, he's strong.
Yeah.
But we've got somebody who eliminates him. Okay, continue.
Yeah. And then there's a third. I'm just forgetting the third one now. It'll come to mind. And then the fourth one I won't count is any one of those guys who's been
So
there.
knock them out. Knock
Right.
them out.
So, but now the issue here is how fresh are we? Because we've got Sean. If I'm putting the team together, I'm making him run the lead off, and I'm putting Walaza on the bench. Sean, he runs a good bend. Maswanganyi, I put him there, but he's had hundreds and 200s. Then I'm giving the back straight to Akani. I would have given it to Benji.
Yeah.
No, listen, I would have given it to Benji,
Okay.
but Benji's not there. And I don't want to put Bradley Nkwana there because the back straight is the longest.
Yeah.
I need someone who can run 100 and 200 because back straight you run 110, 115 meters. So I don't want to fall behind by the time I get to the third. The third, okay, let me give it to Wade. He runs a good bet. I'm not sure of Wade's form. I'll see him properly in the semi-final of the 200 because his opening 200-meter round was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It was okay. I'll see him properly in the semi-final. I'll give that to Wade. And then to close it, you hope that you're still in the mix and say to Nkwana, please run me a 10-0 and hope that you finish. So we're hoping. We're there. We're borderline.
But
It's not a guarantee.
What a championship without hope. But I
Never
want
a guarantee.
Anchor. You know, guys, you never underestimate the power of an anchor.
Yeah. No,
Because
I
end of
agree.
the day is also when you are in the mix there, you fifth or even sixth. You just need one guy. We've seen.
Depends how far you are behind.
Yeah, of course it does. But I'm just saying, in that moment, you want to have somebody who can do something.
Yeah. And Sabine is always so good on that anchor.
So
Fair enough.
I
Yeah.
like your team. I like your team a lot. Maybe I would just shuffle your formation around. Sean must definitely start because he's got the best start out of the band.
Yeah,
He's
and-
flying. You saw him in the 200?
He had the best start of all the
Flying.
200s. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Erwin checked that stat earlier. He had the fastest first 100 in the 200 heats.
So
He ran
So-
it, I think, a 10-3.
which
yeah.
is brilliant.
10-3-0.
Starting on a bend.
Yeah.
solid. So we got him starting. All right? And then this is the...
Now comes the problem.
No, for me, I don't know. We don't even know if he's available for selection. I mean, we still have. Let's just look at the full team. We've got Dambile. Dambile has run many major relay championships. He's been available. I don't know where he is in the pool. We've got Wade van Niekerk. We don't know if he's available for selection or not. But if he's running 200s and is in the semi-final, he's got speed.
Yeah.
If
agreed.
he's got the baton in his hand, he's got speed. You
Correct.
don't have to guess or wonder about it. He's got the speed, right?
Agreed.
And then we've got Bradley Nkwana. Man, the boy's got, there's something about him that is very mature.
He ran a good time just before the Olympics, a 10-0.
10-0, you know, and he's got this, I don't know, he's also got a very good ability to absorb pressure,
Agreed.
you know, and you give him the baton in the hand. No, nothing against Walaza, you know.
We're on the same page.
It's one of those, but I would go with Bradley because
Yeah.
I just feel like he's prepared more with the team and he's quick, you know, and he's got the confidence. He can give it over to
and he
the
also
anchor,
ran the world
Akani.
relays. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair
So
enough.
you see, so that's we'd have to sacrifice Walaza for availability of Wade. If Wade is not available, then Walaza will
fair
have
enough.
to
But
start.
who's running the back straight? Let's assume we get to the final. South Africa gets to the final of the 4x1. Whatever. Let's say Wade makes it to the semis or even the final of the 200. So Walaza runs some of the 4x1 heats. But the final 4x1, we have our best team. Who is running the back straight? Who is running the back straight?
Are you saying our best team in the
It's
sense
the one that he's
Wade
just-
van Niekerk is running?
Yes. So the
I'm
one
saying
that
if he's
came-
available and is the, we don't know. Like we've been doing.
Yeah,
we've
we've
been
been
doing this for
speculating
like. We've been speculating for like 3 weeks already
Yeah.
now. So let's say he's available.
I think it's fine to put him on the back straight.
But
Absolutely.
why
Wade.
not put him on the bend? He's a 400 and 200 man.
You said that how
Because
important
then
that
you've got-
stretch is. It's a long stretch.
But how is his body? How is Wade van Niekerk's body?
His body is ready, Chief. You don't
Yeah,
make
I
a
think he's
semi-final
ready.
in the Olympics without a ready body.
No. Come on. Wade has got so much talent that he makes it to a semi-final sleeping.
So we'll use that talent in the back straight. Dango!
But Nkwana, you put him on a bend. It's 100 man.
He's a good. He can run bends as well. I'm telling you. Where did he
Didn't he run the top
Yeah,
bend
he
in
did.
relay?
So what are you
He
talking
did.
about?
He did. But I would. Okay.
Mi scusi. Mi scusi.
And also, it's about the it's about the race situation, because the last two legs are the most important. You want maturity, you want experience, you want desire, you want the person that's got the magic. And for me to go from Wade to Akani,
Yeah, we understand that, but remember, it has
You know
to
what I
get
mean?
it has to get to Akani also. That's what you need to remember. So wait, I choose you. You know, you need to throw him in there.
yes, correct. So let him run top bend.
It's not a bad team.
No,
I'm not.
it's
I'm
not a
not.
bad
It's not a bad team. I think we agree on,
On
the team.
just the
Just the formation, the combos.
Yeah, we
Hey,
must-
Paul,
Paul
WhatsApp
Horis.
me quick. Let's discuss this, man. But I mean, for me personally, yeah, Benji was a spanner in the works. My
It really
goodness.
was.
Boboyan spanner, ratata. Because, man, we really. He did it well, man. 2 split seconds away from the final.
Yeah.
He's having the season of his life. He's rendered 9.86 and he backs it up with a 9.95. So it's looking good.
You know what's looking really good is the 2028 Olympics. I mean, we're talking about a group of relay runners. Walaza is 18 and Koana is 19.
Yeah.
Benji Richardson is 20. Can you imagine the phenomenal team that we might have?
Sean
in
is
4
what,
years' time?
22 still?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that's I mean future-wise, I'm happy.
Future-wise,
I'm here,
really.
guys, in the present.
Oh, yeah,
now,
you're still
in
here
Paris.
now.
I'm still in Paris. I can't see
Because
that far.
we don't have a medal yet as athletics. you
Yeah,
know?
and,
I'm busy calling people curtain raisers. They produced 2 medals and we've got nothing.
But it's we gotta hope that there's still something coming. And I mean, let's also talk about this performance. Okay, we cannot. I mean, Adrian's he's 26. I mean, that 26. What is it? 26.50.
Yeah.
You know, it's. I know. I know. I'm a bit off topic now because we're on the relays. But I mean, just looking at that, the way that he ran. You know, I'm not gonna talk about the time in itself. I'm looking at the way he went out there and ran. You know, that's the spirit we need in every South African, and I think that's what Akani is trying to keep reiterating to the guys. And it doesn't matter which event you're running, that you know, South African, it's like hella Vietnam, man. You know, we've been through so much, and we able to somehow get together. And when you don't expect us to do well, that's where we go out and we just find it. You know, and Adrian just going out there and you know, having that type of, that's what we need from this relay, is what I'm trying to get at. We need these guys to channel everything. I don't care who runs in that relay. They've got an opportunity to go out there, represent South Africa, fight with everything that they've got. There's a medal there. I'm not going to say it's not there because it's there, but we just need to want it.
Yeah, I think you're really right. It goes back to the point of hope. So some athletes have gone to the Olympic Games with no hope that they
Yeah.
will reach a final
Yeah.
or that they will get a medal. They were just happy to qualify.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's okay. I mean, we are not athletes of similar abilities. It might have been very, very difficult for someone just to qualify in the first place. They might have been trying for 4, 8, or 12 years to get to an Olympic Games, and we must applaud that.
Yeah.
But then we've got to look at, okay, where are we likely to get our medals from? Where is the hope? And there are those who go in there with bona fide medal chances, like Akani, and there are others who've got to do a little bit extra on the day, and maybe they could get in there, like a Prudence, or I'll even put a Marionnette Fourie in that category.
Yeah,
You know, because if she runs her best, she's a 12.5 athlete now for the 100 hurdles.
12.49, yeah.
So if she can run a 12.45, that's
something.
That's bronze territory.
In the past, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
with the 12.4,
Yeah.
you're right. I mean, if she can just, I just want the personal best.
Correct. If she can personal best it, it's not a
National
crazy
record.
fast race like that 100. Then she gets a bronze. So those ones that are kind of borderline, it is about hope and desire, and we've got to kind of help them to believe that it's possible. And I think the same is true of the 4x100 meter relay, because as I was saying, I mean, it's stacked, those two are competing for gold, Jamaica and the US. And then we've got a whole lot of others. We've got Italy, we've got Great Britain. We've got 2 or 3, 4 South Africa that are fighting for bronze, and you've got to believe that bronze medal is yours.
Yeah, and who knows,
Hopefully that's happening there right now in camp, and those guys are knowing that we've got to get this medal.
Yeah, they need to fly Rassi down. Rassi, we need you to do a team talk in the change room, and then comes the 4x4. I think this is the one that I don't. We've done so many prediction ways. I don't even know the team anymore. We've pretty much talked ourselves out of the team, but I do think we were probably closest when we said in the 4x4 the likes of Wade, the likes of Zagiti, the likes of Lyth Pillay, and I think Guardio Isaacs.
Yes,
I think that might have been our closest to having any of the relays correct. I think there's a span in the works. We don't know how it looks and how it will shift. There's a lot of decisions to be made going forward. But the 4x4.
It's such a pity that Lyth Pillay and Zakiti Nene both had to run that repechage because they've got an extra 400 in their legs now, and it's going to make a massive difference. I always felt like the 4x4 relay was always our best chance for
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think it still is.
It still is.
So, but that affects it, really, it does. There are going to be other guys in the other relays that they're racing against who have also got 4 races in their legs. But you almost hope that, because I really don't feel realistically that Pillay or Nene have got a chance for a medal in the individual 400, I'm almost hoping that this next round, the semi-final, will be it for them, and they can maybe just put their feet up for a couple of days and get ready for that relay, because I would rather they got a medal in the relay than seeing Lyth Pillay finish 8th in the individual 400-meter final. That relay's got to be everything now for that team.
It's also about personal goals, but like just watching the way they've run, I think Lyth will struggle to get into the final.
Yes.
I mean, he's run a 45. Nene ran a very good repechage run, 44.8.
Yeah.
So he's close to his PB with that run.
Yeah.
So maybe, and he looked, because when he finished his heat, he looked angry.
Did you
because
see?
he thought that he was the one, and he thought that he had been outdone by the photo finish. Obviously, he saw it and he accepted it. So when he ran again in the repechage, he was angry.
He was
from
fuming.
the get-go. You could see when he finished, he just stormed off, and I was like, right, that's the anger that you need, my man, because that thing is driving you.
Yeah.
And maybe he runs a 44 low, 44 mid, 44 low, and if he can do that, he might get close to a final. It may still not be enough.
It's going to be, I think what we know is that it's going to be fast. Those semi-finals are going to be fast. And I think, like you're saying, I would really love to see Zagiti as well as Lyth run as fast as possible, because there's the confidence of being in a final also. Let's not underestimate that. Going into a 4x4, it just gives you that extra boost to say, you know what? I deserve to be here. We are amongst the best in the world. Now, who's gonna beat us in the 4x4?
Yeah.
But it's a long way. I think that's why Zagiti looked irritated more. Like, I shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And we understand. I mean, after running a 44.81, he shouldn't be there.
Yeah, but he didn't run a 44.81 in the heat.
Yeah. Just a bit of he overcooked it in the first 250 to 300. He just didn't have. I mean, they passed him last 20.
Correct, 20. Yeah, in that last 50, 60, ran out of
So
steam.
he did overcook it, and you can. I think it's more. It's not frustrated with anybody but himself. He's like, this is what I should have done in my previous race.
Yeah, I think it's also important, and we saw it with the mixed relay with Femke Bol
Yeah.
and what she did for the Dutch.
Sheesh.
If you've got one world-class, outstanding runner,
Yeah.
you've got to try and build a team around them. Now, our challenge here is that Wade is not the Wade of 2016, 2017 in terms of the 400 meters, because then it would have been clear. We're putting all our eggs in the 4x4 basket.
Yeah.
Wade, you're going to anchor it, and then we've got Live, Zagiti, and Gardeo, and that's it. The challenge that we have now with the guys running the repechage rounds and Wade doing the 200 is that I hate to say this, but we may not make it through the heats of
No,
that 4x4.
we will. Just let me tell you
Because
what.
is Team Kula and them going to run that heat?
They've
who's
got the
there?
likes of
Adrian
Nortje.
Swart and Nokia.
Nortje?
Nortje is
Brilliant under 20 boy.
yeah.
got the
He's
medal in
very
Nairobi.
strong. I
Yeah.
trust in him. He'll be
Yeah.
willing to fight. He'll be able.
And if I remember correctly, didn't Adrian Swart run the final at World Relays when Wade didn't?
I think it was
Wade didn't run the
Madrin.
final? Was it Nokia?
Yeah, Nortje. or
Yeah.
Nokia.
Whoever it was did well
Yeah,
enough.
correct. Because Wade only ran one.
Yeah.
right.
So you see, we do have enough to remember getting into the
So
final.
depth, yeah.
I don't think it does not need our best team.
Yeah.
That's my question. Does it or doesn't it?
It doesn't. It doesn't.
If we look at what's out
Look
there.
at the years before. It's not the first. We've been in all these finals.
Yes,
Ante Digal
true.
and them were getting us into finals.
Yeah.
We had the Porras. We've had. It goes back and back, and we've
It
been.
does. It goes back
It's
to the
just
early 2000s.
like you said, having that special card. You know.
That's what gets you the medal. You got to get through the heat, and then once you're there, then you bring your big gun because
Exactly.
he doesn't have to run the
Yes.
heat, and then he just runs the
They
final.
did the same with Femke. She was
Exactly.
rested.
And you saw she was in fourth, and she went to first.
Eish.
So Wade could do that easily, but not this year, not right now with the kind of stress that his body has been under over the last 4 or 5 years. He's still quick, he's still good, but there's a reason why he's withdrawn from that individual 400.
Yeah.
So that must give us a clue in terms of his 400-meter fitness. I think we only have one leg for Wade in that
Yes.
400,
Yeah.
and that's the final.
better
So the
use
other
him.
guys must do the job and get there.
Yeah.
And then there we've got to hope that Wade can bring that magic that he has and give us a 400 that we haven't seen in 2 or 3 years.
Exciting stuff.
Very exciting. That final's on Saturday. It's going to be awesome.
Yep.
Can't wait.
Yep, and also just looking at some more events coming up. We've got that the road running.
Aye.
I know you're.
Aye.
We've brought Mr. Road Running.
Aish!
Hala!
Guys, I'm excited. El Rechalat, man.
Hey,
Guy,
yeah,
man, is running like a
in such
madman.
good shape.
we said that the man is in good shape.
I think of all 5 marathon runners that we've got, he's got to be our best hope.
Top 5!
He's in such good shape.
Hey,
man.
Vala, top 5!
Across the board this year.
Top 5.
From 10Ks to the marathon.
Top 5.
Maybe.
Top
And I think, people are saying that we mustn't look too much into the conditions and this challenging course, but the course is going to play into things in a big way. This is not going to be a fast marathon.
it's-
not the men's or women's races. It's
And
gonna
and
be
that'll be
tactical.
in our favor.
Absolutely. It kind of levels things out a little bit. There's no East African running 202. We don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
It's going to be at a pace that the guys are able to stick to. Sean Oldnose really new at the marathon. I don't think we should expect anything from her.
Yeah.
She's still trying to find her feet.
Mm-mm.
I still feel Gerda Steen's going to be tired. She's a phenomenal athlete, but she's raced so many ultras this year. She's won and broken records at 3 of them. I feel like it's maybe just a little bit too much.
Nah, I give it to Gerda. She'll be our best performer by a long, long way in the women's
Of
marathon.
course, smiling.
She might get into a top 10.
I think you're underestimating Yvette van Zyl. Yvette has got a career of not finishing these events.
And then
But she is so tough. She really is. And she's really good on hills. She is. I've seen it.
she is.
Over and over
So
again.
the
She's
course
phenomenal.
is the hilly one, is what you say?
It is very hilly.
It's very
My
hilly.
goodness.
And I think that brings Yvette into the game. She's going to have to deal with whatever's going on in her head that's affected things in the past. She's got to be able to focus and dig deep and grit her teeth. But if she does, I'm not saying that she's going to get a medal, but I feel like she might finish ahead of Gerda.
I'll put my money on Gerda. The thing about Yvette, I love Yvette, but she mentioned before the World Championships last year that her main goal was simply to finish those World Championships because of what you say. Not only at the Olympics, but the World Championships, she's got bad history with getting injured just before,
Yeah,
or going
yeah.
there, carrying something, not finishing the race, conditions, wara wara. So this time around, it's more like a full circle story for her to get to the finish line of the Olympics, which she hasn't done. I don't think she's thinking, let me go for a top 10.
Yeah.
Whereas Gerda was 15th in Tokyo.
Yeah.
And she has shown in the past that she's able to bounce back quickly between demanding efforts. I mean, she's run in 7 weeks a 2 Oceans and a Comrades
Sheesh,
record.
that's crazy.
In 7 weeks over hilly courses. So whatever her recovery strategy is, it's clearly working. So I give her the best performing South African female marathoner by a long way.
Yeah.
And the others, as you say, Sean first time, Yvette for me full circle. We're not expecting much from them. They must go out there and they must enjoy
it, run,
and try and do their best. But Gerda, I put expectation.
I
don't.
Not
Top
anymore.
10. Number
Gerda.
10.
You know what?
I
Number
would have
10 or number
agreed.
11.
Not after Omdi Dam, Two Oceans, comrades.
She was jogging. Omdi Dam.
Those are long
she
runs.
was jogging. They're no athletes.
It's long runs.
Listen.
I don't think there's an athlete in the world who can handle that racing schedule.
No, you're not.
Gerda again.
We mustn't be fooled by the lack of depth. And people are going to want to beat me up. But sometimes in female distance running in South Africa, there's a real lack of depth.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
we don't even have to go to the marathon. We just need to go to 10K races. It's the same athletes running every week in the women's races. And in the South African, there are 5 or 6 or 7. It's Glen Rose, it's Kaklisile, it's
Taylor Kavanagh.
It's Taylor Kavanagh. It's now Karabo Mailula's coming up. It's those 5 or 6. It's Yvette when she's in good shape. The Palulas now are veterans. So it's the same few. So when Gerda goes and beats people by half an hour, we mustn't say, oh wow, how amazing is Gerda. We must say, where the hell is everybody else to be pushing her? And thankfully we have Yvette, who at least at Two Oceans we've seen has been committed to pushing Gerda all the way, which is good for the race. But when you come to the standard marathon, whenever let's say there's a Cape Town marathon, who's there in the front? 1 year Gerda ran with the East Africans and came 4th, I think 2 years ago. Other than that, there's no one else. There's no other South African woman who's even capable of running in those kind of big city marathons, a sub 2:30. We haven't seen it. We simply haven't. So it's not that she's been so amazing sometimes in some of those runs when we say it's a punishing schedule. It's just that she's been out there doing her long run or her tempo run, and there's no one else. There's no competition, so she's running with men. So I think she's got a good recovery strategy. She's shown it, and somewhere there between top 15 and top 10 for Gerda. Somewhere there.
Yeah. I do hope you're right.
But not an early top 10. I'm not saying she's going to come 4th or 5th.
Yeah.
I'm saying she'll come 9 or 10, 11 or 12. Somewhere there.
With what you're saying, Nosweat, I also 100% agree. Yeah, definitely. I think for her, she set, the standard. She's got that top 50, which is an amazing performance. But she can go the next level. And what I agree with what Nosweat is saying in that not all those runs are as punishing and as taxing for her. It's long runs. It's a part of her preparation. Yes, she's snacking on everybody else there. And I mean, you had your doubts, Wes, and every time, and again, she's gonna take her Adidas shoe and put it in your mouth.
I had no doubt that Gerda would win Comrades and Two Oceans this year. I had very little doubt that she would break the records. But to break the record at Omdi Dam, and then at Two Oceans, and then at Comrades, and then run the Olympics in the space of 5 months.
Firstly, let's discount Omdi Dam. Omdi Dam was so weak this year that she came 10th man. The guys, 3-something. Hey, man, Omdi Dam, 15 years ago, people with broken shoes were running 250 early or 249. These guys become weak these days, some of our ultra runners. And also, some of the main Northwest guys, when they go to that race, they run in full tracksuit and they use it as a long run.
Yeah,
they start from way behind. I'm talking about Slender's group, the Happy Bunch, Edward Mutibi, Tete Dijana, all those guys. They'll run in full tracksuit, gloves. They are not there to race. And then the other people who are supposed to be racing are running 3:03 or 3:04. You can't. Because in the 1980s, the guys who were training hard on the mines will smoke all of those 3:03 runners. So this year, the depth between Omdi Dam has lessened, and that is also a function of the racing calendar. There are a lot more on that weekend in particular. I think there was Loskop, there's TNU Ultra 50K, so there are a lot of races happening that Omdi Dam weekend which have weakened the strength of that race. It's not what it used to be maybe even 6-7 years ago. So I think let's not count Omdi Dam too much. Because it's more like let's go and run Omdi Dam to qualify for Comrades. It's not like let's run Omdi Dam like we run Two Oceans before Comrades. So I think
that's fair.
Yeah, I wouldn't look into that as Omdi Dam.
All right.
Yeah, you'll see, Wes. But yeah, I think we do have a strong team in the female side of it. Sean Oldknow, what I like about her is every race she's getting better, she's improving. She's got a very sound way of getting things done. It's not over the top. Even her qualifications, like, oh, you qualified, great.
And we were so surprised.
We were surprised, but
been amazing.
like I said, she just goes about her business, not talking about it. There's no big race schedule plans of what I'm going to be doing next. But a personal best, I believe, is what she'll be able to come with. Now, the challenge of running those the circuit, for a marathon, does that play against the athletes? Maybe the athletes that have done track, the likes of Mokoka, the Elroy Halans, they know the laps. They know. Do you feel like it's got a disadvantage? I mean, how many laps? They're saying 7 laps, or is it more?
It depends how you train, is the short answer. For example, I know that Mokoka, some of his long runs are lapped, a lot of them. I've watched him training out in the south of Johannesburg. I've watched him training at Tux, and most, I would say 90% of his routes are lapped. So he will do like between 3 and 5 kilometer loops. So he's used to it. I don't know too much about Elroy's long runs, but a lot of the elite marathon runners in South Africa prefer lapped routes, because then you can have your drinks as well during your training. So I know at Zoo Lake they have their laps. They run laps. Even Pantane, Mdu Kumalo's guys there by Westville University, they have a lapped course. So a lot of the guys run laps because it also helps you keep the pace.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to worry about watches. You'll know, because you've been running that lap a lot. You'll know, okay, usually one lap, whatever, will take me however many minutes.
Distance,
And then you can, that, okay, today I'm on fire, or I need to pull back, whatever. So I think they'll be used to running those kind of lap courses. Specifically Mukoka, I know he's done that in the past.
Yeah.
So I think, he should do well.
Yeah, but I think it's one of those, you look at the likes of Eliud Kipchoge. I mean, it's different, this isn't world record races. And as long as it's like that, I'll always say Elroy season this year. I mean, let's not discount Mukoka. Mukoka went sub 28, so he's pretty much at the peak of his powers. And when Mukoka he's like a stopwatch.
Yeah.
He's got time in his blood. He knows his splits. He knows how to run. He knows exactly how to go about it. Elroy Galant is having a season where, man, you almost feel like he can do anything. And
Mokoka has proved himself as well. He's finished 5th at the World Championships.
That's amazing.
I really hope that they know each other well, right? So I really hope that Stephen and Elroy are
work
chatting
together
in advance.
Yeah.
And, obviously if one of them's feeling better than the other, they're not going to hang around for them. But maybe not the worst idea to just sit together in that group and just try and work together.
They have to. I mean, you've seen the East Africans, the West Africans, even the Europeans. Everybody goes there, and it's better. I mean, if you're going to be running there and we keep each other accountable to pace, splits, and we make it easy, the easier it is until, we'll fight in front there. But until then, it's about just working and feeding off each other and just motivating, like, hey, let's do this. We're doing this for South Africa.
Plus, I think that for once, there's a chink in the East African armor. And I'll tell you why. I watched that 10,000 meter final, and I wasn't impressed with the Ethiopians. You could see Kajelcha wants to go. He goes to the front. He runs a 63. He runs a 63. Now he says Aragawi must take the lead. Aragawi goes. He runs a 65 late or 66. He's pushing him. He's saying go. Because he's saying this guy, we need to burn Cheptegei at the back. But every time it's Aragawi or Barega coming to the front, they don't want to. They drop the pace, because what do they want to do? They are sprinting now. They want to sprint for individual medals. So I don't know what the pre-race tactic was, but clearly there was disharmony, because even at the end of the race, they called Kajelcha to celebrate with them, and he refused. So gone are the days when the East Africans used to run for each other. We used to see it all the time, especially with Kenya. They would run for each other in the steeplechase and sweep the medals, in the 10,000 and sweep the medals. This time, 10,000, no Kenyan on the podium. Gajani. So, and what's happened is that a lot of the Kenyan athletes are running road because it's lucrative.
Yeah, there's money.
So they're running road early and forget about this fighting for each other at the Olympic Games. So in the past, we've seen athletes enjoying protection in big in Olympic races from their countrymen, and I don't think we're going to see it this time around from the East Africans, which means that our guys have got as good a chance as any of getting in there, especially if it's a hilly, hot race, then why not? Why can't Mukoka or Elroy come top 5 or even Bronze Nyana? Why not?
Yeah, I mean, with regards to what you're saying, I mean, we saw the what is it, the Kenyans in the 5,000, the women. Well, they did well.
Yeah,
they
worked
worked together.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously the major talking point. There was a medal which was given and then taken away and then given tika neck nika. You know, you give it, you take it. And I mean, that in itself was drama. You know, I was watching that race. I was like, just let it go, Ethiopia. Like, your person finished on about 10th. She's got a silver. Just let it slide. You know, both of them, we can say are right or wrong. There are rules. Obviously, no pulling, but you can't also push me. And so it's one of those where the medal was taken away from Faith Kipyegon. I also believe it messed up her race big time.
It did. I think it did. Mentally, even physically, she had to kind of regather herself a little bit.
And she made a big surge, you know?
Yeah, and she was furious about it. I mean, it was clear on her face that she wasn't happy about the situation when it happened. I'm glad she got reinstated.
Absolutely,
Really,
but
I don't think it would have changed. For me, it didn't change anything.
Nah,
because
I think it
that,
did change.
that race was always Beatrice Chibet's race. Guys, let's not underestimate the importance of cross-country. Remember that last year, Faith Kipyegon was beaten at the World Road Running Championships in the road mile. I think you've forgotten. Who's the Ethiopian man? There's an Ethiopian, she's lesser known than Tsege and the rest. I'll remember her now. She outsprinted, she did the Ethiopian tactic, sit on her back and outkicked her 400 meters to go. And then Beatrice Chibet, the way that she won that 10-kilometer title in Serbia this year, dominant fashion, was sitting there and then she just accelerated and pulled away. And the way she's been running 10,000s, I said, no, this one, I'm giving her 5 and 10, double gold before the Olympics. So I don't think that, because Kipyegon is more on the 1500 side, I still feel, in terms of an athlete.
Yeah.
She's got a wonderful kick, but if they drain it out of you, they'll drain it out of you. You know, it's like the whole Hisham El Garouj 15-5 going up to the 5 to take on Bekele. He will lose in the 5 against Bekele, but he will win in the 15 against Bekele and Kipchoge. So it's a similar thing where I think Faith is more of a 1500 athlete.
Yeah, absolutely she is.
And in the 5, she's Tatama chance, but not with Beatrice Chebet in this kind of form. For me, that gold was always hers, and then even the 10,000, hers. And then Faith will try and do her best. So those medals went the way I expected them to. I just thought that maybe Tsege would take bronze, and I wouldn't have counted Hassan in for the bronze, because I'm putting her more on a marathon program these days. So
yeah, but I mean, how amazing is that to be running in 3 events at the Olympic Games? You know, to be able to medal, and everybody's
going to do 4.
Everybody's
Isn't that insane?
I think she pulled out of 1. She decided to pull out of the
of the
1005.
Yeah.
But I mean, my goodness, where is she from? What universe are you from, child?
The same one as Gerda Steyn. I think it's too much. I'm talking about Hassan now, not Gerda.
But I mean, okay, it's too much, whatever it is. But I mean, you know, we take out of consideration is that she medaled.
Yeah.
Not everybody, nobody's talking about a bronze medal. Yes, everybody's worried about you can't win all 4. That's the levels we've put on her.
Yeah.
She's got a bronze
nothing wrong with
already.
that.
So that's one tick. She hasn't failed once yet.
Yeah.
Marathon, you've seen her fall. She tumbled, she rolled, they picked her up. She did push-ups, she did squats. She came back into that same marathon and won.
And then gave the most famous post-marathon interview, saying, I don't know what just happened when I said I do marathon. Like rambling is like, yeah, that's the marathon for you.
You see what I'm saying? So, yes, we can say whatever ways. But she's delivering. She's getting the medals. She's not missing. She hasn't missed a beat. So we've got to salute her. I mean, she's like she's from Gerda's universe as well. That's exactly it. So, and I mean, that's what's been so exciting about these Olympics. Tonight, we've got some more races that are coming up. We saw the likes of Zenay Geldenes, I almost used the old surname, as well as Rogail
Joseph.
Joseph.
Oh, sorry. I always say Joseph.
Yeah. So Rogel Joseph also running a PB, 54.56, and Gelden Ace with a 54.73. So the inform personal base, like you said, this is what we expect. 400 hurdles, they weren't as fast as what I expected in the heats, but it is heat still. So let's see. We've got a chance in the semi-finals. Let's see how that looks. We've still got some 200s. We still have some marathons. And we still have, there's still a lot to fight for out there. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing how the rest of the South Africans will do.
I think I hope that for Rogel and Janae, that they both of them, one of them is with the Sydney McLaughlin, and the other one is with Femke, because the race is fast. Then you have a chance.
You have to go.
You have a chance. So I hope that they get drawn in those semis, and then they can get pulled in, sucked in by that fabulously fast pace, and then we could have one of them getting to a final.
That's what we're looking forward to. So ladies, go out there, make it count, and just like we said earlier, like I wish they put Ryan and Sita in the same race everywhere, heat, charge. Everywhere,
because they usually run well together. Yes.
if there was a 2-for-1 special, that's the special that would have went there, and I know they would have made it through. But it's been it's a learning curve for a lot of these athletes. It's not easy, but we continue, and it's good. I think that the tough thing about being South African is that we always expect the best and the most. We're not a mediocre country, which is it's good, right? Because we expect the best. We are hopeful. We're actually more hopeful than anything else. In that, once a South African is there in our colours, we're expecting blood, sweat, and tears, and we want to see it in your face, and we want to see you actually go out and give it your all.
I feel like South Africa only cares about gold. It's only winning, right? It's okay. So that's the Olympics. So we'll say gold, silver, or bronze. And maybe it's the Springboks who have set that standard for us, and now that's all we'll accept. But I will give it to South Africans that when our athletes perform, they are lauded for it.
Sheesh.
People celebrate in a big way
For years.
if the athletes do come through. But they don't want to hear fourth. They don't want to hear it, man. I love that Akani finished fourth. I think that's brilliant. To be fourth in the world in the 100-meter sprint, to do it over and over again, that's not what South Africans want to hear.
I think they've been positive. After Prudence's run last night, I feared the worst. I thought, the memes will start tomorrow, or not even tomorrow, 10 minutes after the race, especially after she finished last. But I found that the general consensus online has been positive when it comes to Prudence and Akani. There were a few jokes about Mpatlele leading the race and then falling back and wada. But I think in this year, there has been a lot more positivity, and maybe it's been set up by the fact that Tatiana did so well in the swimming. So people are a little bit more, or a little less expectant. The feeling is that, mountain biking, sevens, and swimming have got 4 medals, so it's fine, That's the South African public, because there's the South African public, then there's us, the athletics community.
Yeah. Remember the Khotso year where South Africa had no medals until he came and got that silver.
And it was the last 2 days of Beijing.
That's a different type of pressure. He was carrying the whole of South Africa on his shoulders, and we need to chat with him about that one of these days. That's fantastic.
Maybe the expectation has dropped as well, because we haven't had a medal in athletics since 2017 World Championships. It's been a long time. There's 3 World Championships and 1 Olympics, so we've got nothing. And I guess after a while, people stop expecting as much.
Yeah.
We've still got chances.
We've lost also. Wade was in 2017. He medaled. Luvo, he's had his own problems. Casta has had her problems of a different kind. And so those are 3 athletes that consistently medal from between 2016 and 2017, and then Casta going back to 2012. Sunette, she's retired and moved on. So the generation has changed, and where we should have had a Luvo still competing now, because of the challenges that he's faced, he's not there. And the guy is so gifted.
Talented.
He's so gifted that if he was in his in his right mind and his life was in order, he would easily be medaling this time. I mean, the
Oh,
long
yeah.
jump this year wasn't such a fabulous
Yeah,
competition.
it wasn't.
You
Wow.
know what I mean? So I think he would have medaled this time. So those are the problems that we face. But it speaks to our societal issues in South Africa. Our athletes are struggling because South Africa is struggling. We can't expect someone to scrape and struggle and supported by their parents and being paid for to go to competitions by their parents for 10 or 15 years. I mean, Johanne van Dijk right now, who's the country's top javelin
yeah.
athlete, who finished in the top 8 in Commonwealth Games. She told me that at the beginning of this year that although she's got wonderful support from the Northwest University, her parents are still partly supporting her so that she can continue being a full-time athlete. So until we wake up
Yeah.
and say, right, do we want medals, then we must support these athletes fully.
Proper.
Then we're not going to get medals.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Medals cost money.
if you look at, when you look at the programs that they run in Europe, I'll look at Great Britain, for instance. You know, the millions of dollars that they invest in trying to win one medal per individual. You know, we're cutting it short, guys. We're really hoping. And I mean, that's why we celebrate. I think if you really have to understand it when we celebrate these athletes, that they come from no support. And I'm talking no support all the way through to the federation, where you have to be so special, Wesley. You have to be so special that you almost, override and repecharge all these other hurdles to be able to say, I'm a professional athlete, top 10. How do you get to top 10 without, I mean, let's be honest. All our top 10 athletes are almost supernaturally gifted athletes. It's not, we can't really say there was a system that got them through from primary school to high school to university and funded them all the way to getting Olympic gold or fourth place or finals, or let's be honest.
Yeah, because what's happening now is that all of our Olympic finalists, so Akani, Prudence, Marione, all of those should be medalists with the support, the full support.
Full support, absolutely.
Correct. And then all the guys who just qualify for the Olympics and get there and haven't got much to report, those are semi-finalists. And our semi-finalists are finalists with the right support.
Absolutely.
Which means that at the SA Champs level, which is where it starts, we can no longer afford to have mediocre performances where we need to now move the provincial athlete who is like kind of borderline to a national athlete. And all those guys who are kind of national, knocking on the international door, those are the athletes now who need to be Olympians exiting in the first round. And there are many of them. All these guys, for me, a simple example, we have too many athletes in the wrong events. We've got athletes running 1,500 meters who should be running 5,000 meters. We have athletes running 800 meters who should be running 1,500 meters. And we have so many 400-meter runners without enough speed. They must go to 800. 200 must go to 400. And if we had a system based on identification, talent identification and support, we'd be graduating them through the levels, and then medals will happen automatically as a result of a good system, not rather praying and hoping. And then one person makes it through their family, through their personal sponsors, and then we heap the pressure on them and jump onto them.
Win a medal.
Listen, a guy who's 30 and has got a big shoe contract does not need your money anymore. He's made it. He's running Diamond League.
Yeah.
Must I tell you how much they get for an invitation just to run the Diamond League? You don't want to know. It's scary numbers, big numbers. So once the athlete has made it there, they don't need your help. The guy that needs your help is the guy that finished matric, that was running well, that doesn't get a bursary to go to Tux, of Poch, of Martis, of Kofsis, and those are the kids that give up.
Yeah,
and there are lots of them, and those are the kids that we should be supporting.
Yeah, let's look at them. I mean, Kyle Blugnoot was fifth. What he was in the final?
Sixth,
yeah.
Sixth at the Tokyo Olympics. What has been done to support Kyle Blichnot, I mean, his life should have changed. He should have been able to buy a house, buy a car, paying for all his medical bills, investing some money into his future, just for being in a top 8 at the Olympic Games. Go to any other European country, that's what you see. What has been done for Kyle Blichnot? What has been done for Shaun Maswanganyi? He was a semi-finalist at the previous Olympics. So was Lux. What has been done for Lux? He's injured now.
Mm-hmm. Where's Gift?
And the best we could do was, we can talk about adding him or dropping him. His journey has been so hard to a point where he got to a point where he's injured. Where was the support? Yeah, now we can, we can have these debates about form and whatnot, but where was the support? Actually, you know. So we've got a lot of work to do with, and I mean, this is a big topic.
I feel like Athletics South Africa needs to find a way to make more money, firstly, so that they can distribute it to the correct places. Without money, you can't give any out, right?
Yeah.
But I also agree with what Mosebodi's saying. If you look at SASCOC's OPEX program, they reward athletes who don't need the money, right? They're rewarding people who have already achieved things. So you get to this level, and then we'll support you. But who was there to help them get to that level? And we're losing so many athletes coming out of high school.
It's such a big
like
jump.
You said, they need support. Those are the athletes who need support. The guy who can't pay rent, who can't pay his coach, who can't buy shoes. That's who needs support.
Physio.
Absolutely. You need all of those things.
And the evidence
you can't
is
work
there.
a full-time job all day and then still try and be an athlete.
That's what Elroy is doing, going to the Olympic Games.
It's
And
brutal.
because the university understands, they've given him time off to prepare. Now, who else is going to do that? I mean, the statistics are there. Look at South Africa's performance at the World Under-20 Championships. It's coming up now at the end of August.
Yeah.
South Africa's
Lima.
always like number 5 or 6, 7 on the medals table. That's against all those countries. But go to the Senior World Championships. We can't win one medal.
Yeah.
We can't win one medal. What changes from the time that an athlete is 19 to the time that he's 24? Where are those kids who got to the finals? Forget about the medalists. The Mene de Klerks of this world, because she's now at Oregon and she's doing well. They will get taken by big managers and big varsities. But where are the guys who are reaching finals? They are not running well anymore. Some of them, they've disappeared. They were reaching the finals in the 3,000 meters, reaching a final, whatever, at the World Under-20s. That's a big deal. That is the athlete that we should be saying, right, we've got to make sure now that we support you for the next Olympic cycle.
Yeah.
To make sure that you get there.
You get there. Yeah. So,
And it's not just ASA, okay? It's not just OPEX. Because when it comes to the Olympics, the whole country, the Minister of Sport is there taking photos. The president will make a speech. Everyone's going to say we want performance at the Olympics. But then when there are problems in South Africa, the budget gets moved from sport into other departments. Same thing happened during COVID. So my question is then, sport is only nice, it's only lacquer during the Olympics. The rest of the time we forget. Then we complain of these poor souls. They're doing their best. It's being supported by their parents.
yeah, that's the reality of it. And I think, gentlemen, with that, before I see you, Wesley's fuming. Mosibodi is also fuming. So let's supercharge this till later.
But
You used that word wrong.
because we still have a marathon. Yeah, no, marathon.
Yeah, so a lot of athletics still to come, and looking forward to seeing that. Wesley, parting words. Some big races to still come. We're still hoping and looking forward to some great performances. Parting words before we wrap it up.
Watch the Olympics tonight. We've got 400-meter hurdlers in the women's semi-finals. We've also got 400-meter sprinters going in the semi-finals. Both Light Pile and Zakiti Nene running tonight. Am I right?
Oh, yes,
Oh, yeah.
correct.
So 4 big races. We'll see if some of them can get into finals.
That's true. Mosibodi, parting words.
Parting words, the more finalists, the better. I think everyone who gets to a final at the Olympics, it's a major, major achievement. Even a semi-final is good work. But ultimately, the race that we're looking forward to, the number one, the weekend, marathon. I feel like Elroy has been chosen for this moment, given the difficulty he had to qualify. He never gave up. I was thinking, this guy, what's wrong with him? He keeps talking about qualification. He's out. And he said, I think I still believe I can make it.
And
he
he
runs
did.
209, he makes it. He wins everything. And I think this is his time. I honestly believe that Elroy and Steven, both capable of a top 10 finish, one of them, probably Elroy, in the top 5 of the men's marathon. And that for me is enough. Given what we're talking about support.
Yeah.
That for me is enough. And in the women's race, they must just enjoy. Gerda, top 15, were happy. And then that's I won't even ask for positions from the other ones.
Yeah.
Just want to enjoy the race.
Enjoy the race. Athletes participating at the Olympics, man, it brings us joy. When we see the South African flag, when we see you out there fighting, giving your best, some of you will fail, some of you will succeed. But end of the day, man, we love every single athlete that's out there. Afrique du Sud, South Africa, that's who we are supporting. So continue to shine, guys. We'll be supporting all the way until the last day. And we believe the medal will come. Thank you for watching. And we'll see you guys very soon. Good night. God bless. Nda.